Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here. What I got for you today is a review of a neat quadcopter. This is the JYU Hornet. Now, the JYU Hornet is an all-in-one kind of quadcopter. It's actually a pretty neat concept what we got here. Let's go over the quadcopter first off. JYU Hornet is a modular design quadcopter. You can buy a basic version without FPV and fly it. You can buy an FPV version, which includes this FPV module here. I think you might even be able to buy the basic version and buy the FPV module and just attach it in there. Or, if you wish, there's another version that comes with landing gear and a camera and a gimbal, a stabilized gimbal. And that just plugs into little holes on the side of the fuselage here, and the gimbal plugs into this slot right here. Other things about this quadcopter, it's advertised as being super fast. I don't know about that. We'll find out today. But it also is configurable. Now, don't expect being able to adjust the PIDs on this quadcopter. That's just not going to happen. But it uses its own configuration software specifically for this. And you can adjust horizontal speed, vertical speed, and rotational speed. There is no PIDs that, PIDs that you actually go in and adjust on this quadcopter. That just isn't made for that. But other than that, it is a GPS quadcopter. It has 3 modes of flying, which is GPS 1, which is a very slow GPS position hold type of flight. And then there's position 2, GPS 2, which is a little bit faster. And then it has manual mode. Now, manual mode is where this thing is supposed to be super speedy, but keep in mind that the manual mode on this is really still stabilized mode. It is not horizon. It's not acro mode where you can actually flip this upside down. There is angle restrictions to the that particular mode. It doesn't let you exceed that. But in that actual mode, though, you get pretty extreme pitch, which gives you pretty extreme speed with this particular quadcopter. One thing I want to talk about is the battery that comes with this. I believe it's 25 milliamp hour. Yeah, 25 milliamp hour, 11.1 volt battery. It's a smart battery, one of your smart batteries that will discharge itself after a certain amount of time of non-use. One thing though, to start this quadcopter up and to also charge this particular battery, you have to turn on the battery. And the way you turn on the battery is a quick press and then a long press of the battery, and then let go, and then the battery should be started. Let me demonstrate that. There we go. And a quick press and a long press to turn it off. Now, I said you have to do that when you start the battery, or when you charge the battery too. That took me a long time to figure that out. I was plugging the battery in, and the battery charger just kept beeping and wouldn't charge this battery until I turned the battery on. So keep that in mind. If you're having problems charging the battery on this, you got to turn the battery on for it to be charged. So that was kind of unusual. Let's go over the transmitter. Very nice ergonomic design transmitter. Feels very good in the hands. Has these rubber grips on the outer edge here so that to avoid slippery. If your hands get sweaty, you can still maintain a good grip on it. But it's also very basic design for the transmitter. This button here with a home picture on it is your return to home button. One thing I got to to activate a return to home, you got to do a quick press. Do not do a long press. I'll tell you what a long press does. Long press, no matter where you're flying, if you press that long press button, that sets whatever position in space you're at as the new home position. So if you do a quick press after that and you're out flying about it, it will not return to home where you took off. It will return to home where you did that long press. So keep that in mind. Don't do a long press while you're flying. It's just a quick press to return to home if you want to return to home where you took off from. Okay? Automatic takeoff and automatic landing. Automatic takeoff is a long press while it's on the ground, and you have to have sufficient satellites, and you got to be in position 1 or 2, I believe, GPS positions, for it to do an actual automatic takeoff. And an automatic landing, wherever it's at, you do a quick press there, and it will automatically land whatever position it's over at the time. Other things, this is your mode switch. Mode 1 again is GPS position 1, where it's slow GPS flying. Position 2 is GPS 2 position hold, where it's a little bit faster. And position 3 is manual mode, which is just what they some people call angle mode, which is just stabilized flight, but it's manual flight. You have control of the full manual control of the quadcopter without GPS inputs, and that enables you to get much greater speed because that particular mode has a very high pitch to it. Other buttons on this is a red, green, blue button here. You press this button here and you can actually change the colors of the lights on the LED lights on the quadcopter to whatever color you prefer, and you can adjust the brightness of those lights by moving this scroll button up and down. And this button here is for taking photos and videos for the gimbal version. Unfortunately, the FPV version that I got with the FPV camera does not have a SD card recording slot, so you cannot actually record videos with the FPV version of this. You need the gimbal version to record videos. But I will be recording today's flight via my sunscreen box with a built-in camera on there to show what the on-screen display and the FPV video is from this particular quadcopter. With that in mind, the FPV version also comes with a 5.8 gigahertz FPV screen. If you notice, we got two antennas on this version. So one of these antennas is for controlling the quadcopter on 2.4 gigahertz, and the other antenna is for 5.8 gigahertz FPV and on-screen display information coming back to the receiver, where it eventually comes out of the receiver and goes into the screen. So you can see that on both the FPV video and the on-screen display. Let's go over some other things on this transmitter. You have two buttons in the back, F1 and F2. This is for changing your FPV frequencies, going up and going down. That's what, and I think if you hold a long press, I think it will also scan. I'm not quite sure on that one there, but you can change the channels up and down by pressing these buttons here. You have a USB output port. I am not sure what that is for right now, input output, unless it's for configuring the software on this controller. You have another one, a micro USB slot. You can see there, I can't remember if it's mini or micro, what the actual design is, the Samsung style slot, but that one is for charging the transmitter and the power for the screen. It has a built-in LiPo battery. There's no AA batteries that you put in this, so keep that in mind. And finally, the 5.8 gigahertz FPV screen, which is powered by the transmitter itself, and also the data is coming out of the transmitter itself into the screen via this little plug, this wire cable plug. So that's the transmitter in effect. Well, we're going to go over setup for this quadcopter for takeoff. I am going to show you for this how to do a compass calibration dance for this quadcopter. It's kind of unusual, but it's very necessary for this quadcopter. They say to do it only once, and then whatever position you're flying at, it should be good for future flights. I like to do it for every flight, folks. It's just something you should do, in my opinion. So let's go for a flight of the JYU Hornet and show you how it flies. Hope you enjoy this flight. Okay, the first thing we need to do is do a compass calibration dance. The first thing I'm going to do is take off my watch, so that might not interfere with the compass, because it's got a lot of metal in that watch. And we're going to turn on the transmitter. The transmitter is on, and we are going to turn on the quadcopter. Again, quick press and then long press. And we're going to wait a second, and we should be able to see the FPV video coming up on the screen, as we're seeing right now. Okay, to do the compass calibration, you push the left stick down and to the left, and the right stick up and to the left. And the lights on the quadcopter should start blinking red. Let's take a look here and see. They are blinking red, as you can see here. Now, to do the compass calibration dance, put the base of the quadcopter to your left and hold it sideways like I'm doing now. Now, turn it clockwise from the top, like I'm doing right now, and at the same time, rotate your body counterclockwise. And it usually takes about 2 rotations before the red lights switch to green lights while you're doing this. Okay, they're still blinking red, still blinking red. There, now we're in green lights. Now we got to do another 2 rotations, about another 2 rotations of the body while rotating the quadcopter. The way bug you bother me. You still got blinking green lights, blinking green lights, blinking green lights. I think we should be almost done. And there, now we got steady green. So it takes about 4 rotations of your body while rotating the quadcopter before the compass calibration is done. Now, final step. Notice the green lights are all steady green right now. Well, that doesn't mean we're ready to fly. That's just telling me that the compass calibration is done. What we need to do is turn the quadcopter off by quick press and a long press. Wait a few seconds. You don't need to mess with the transmitter, but then turn the quadcopter back on to complete the compass calibration and start the GPS lock-on process. Now, for GPS lock-on, the back lights are blinking green, which means it's searching for GPS. It is not ready to take off until we get steady green on these back 2 lights. So that's going to take about 1 to 2 minutes, actually, for this particular quadcopter. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is take my sunshade and get my camera recording within my sunshade. I'll show you folks how I do this. I got a little micro camera here. This is an old EQ camera. It's not very configurable. That's why I don't use it for my flights. But it takes a relatively good video. And starting the recording on that. And if you look inside this, I got a little platform inside where I slide my camera into to record these FPV videos. So putting it on that platform and adjusting it, we should be good to go there. So closing up my sunscreen. This is very simple to make, folks. People have been asking about the sunscreen. Oh, this is this black foam board that I got from the local dollar store that I cut into a box shape to fit on my various screens. I only got 2 of these that I made, one for these larger FPV screens and one for the smaller FPV screens. They more or less work for all. Okay, I just started the quadcopter with a short press and a long press. Now we're going to wait a few minutes here, a couple minutes, for the GPS to bind. One thing I don't like about the OSD on this particular screen is they don't tell you the number of satellites that you get. You have to determine if you have a GPS lock, again, by these back green lights. That's the only way that you can tell that you have GPS lock. And you got to wait for them to stop flashing. Right now they're flashing. Once I get a solid green light on the back legs, that means I have sufficient satellites to fly, or in GPS mode. So what we need to do is, okay, they seem to be starting to steady out right now. Every once in a while it flashes. I'm going to give it another 30 seconds or so here to lock on a little better, but I get intermittent flashes. But let's see if I can actually start up the quadcopter now, though. Down and to the left. Yep. Okay, let me try a different mode. Manual mode. Can I start up the quadcopter? Yes, I can. Okay, let's go back to GPS mode. Shutting it down. Now I'm going to start the quadcopter again by down and to the right. Okay, there we go. We are taking off first in manual mode, or in GPS mode, I'm sorry, GPS position 1. So I'm going to give it a little throttle until it takes to the air, and we're going to see if we have any toilet bowl effect in the quadcopter. And I'm seeing a little bit of toilet bowl there. Let's see if it steadies up. Okay. It's relatively good steady flight. It's holding its position. Doing a quick walk around to make sure it's holding its position. Okay, so I think we're good to go here. I'm going to take it up a little bit higher. And let's just show you position 1 flying. Pushing forward. This is all the way forward, folks. This is how fast it goes in position 1 flight. Not very fast at all. So, you know, JYU is advertising this for beginner flyers. Yeah, beginner flyers could fly this in position 1. Especially if you leave it, yeah, if you leave it in position 1, I haven't seen a more gentle FPV flyer than this. But I do not recommend brushless motor quadcopters for beginner flyers. They're just a little bit too much, I feel, for a beginner. But again, a beginner could fly this in position 1, as you see how simple it is to fly it. Very slow, very stable, very easy to fly. In fact, I've never seen a more stable, slower flyer than this. This is full pitch, folks. Okay, let's stop it right there. Let's try position 2. That's supposed to be faster. Going to position 2. Full pitch. Yeah. It's still very stable, but a lot faster this time. About twice the speed of it was at position 1. And it actually banks itself as you make a turn. You don't need to apply bank in GPS. The GPS actually applies bank when you're turning. You're giving it rudder yaw. Normally, if you would manually fly it, you'd also need to give it pitch, or I mean roll command. But this does it automatically, as you can see here. So very stable flyer, very easy to fly. Let's go down the road a bit and we'll try a return to home. Okay, that's about enough. I don't want to go too far because I want it to to come back quickly. So I'm going to press the home button quickly, a quick press. It does fly back very fast. Let's see if it lands itself. Are you going to land? Apparently it doesn't land itself in a return to home. It just flies back and positions itself at about 2 meters, which is unusual. So it has returned to home, but not returned to land. Let's try an automatic landing then. We'll tell it to land. Quick press of the, let's see, is it landing? No. Quick press of the button. There you go, and then it lands itself. So for an automatic return to home, it'll return and position itself over where its home, or it thinks home is, and then land itself by a quick press of the button. Let's try a quick press and see if it takes off. No? How about a long press? I have not been able to get the takeoff to work, folks. I'm sorry, I don't know what the deal is. Okay, let's go back to the air. In position 1. Again, manual takeoff. For some reason, mine doesn't want to do an automatic takeoff. Okay, how much voltage do we got left in this? 11.4. Okay, we're good to go for a bit of flying. I'm going to go to position 3 flying. Let's go a little bit higher and see how fast this thing can go. You got to manually give it throttle up because it is now in manual mode. But let's see how fast this will go. Oh, it seems to be very fast, actually. Okay, it's actually, again, stabilized mode. Very nice flyer, actually. Look at that thing go. It ain't kidding about this being fast. I lost sight of it in the sun there. There we go. Okay, bringing it back down and going back to position 2. Okay, we're back in position 2. And we'll bring it down a little bit lower here. So yeah, you know, if you're looking for a quadcopter that's modular design, easy to fly, this is very easy to fly, provided you do an appropriate compass stance. I really recommend doing the compass stance before each and every flight of this, because I'm not sure about it takes so long to get the GPS to lock in, and that's why I do the compass stance every flight. It seems to be a long time to lock in the compass on this. So let's bring it in a little closer. Other thoughts on this? This is, again, modular design. They're saying that they're bringing out, in the near future here, a wristwatch that you can use with this quadcopter for follow me mode. The wristwatch would have a built-in GPS system so that you could activate it and it would follow you just like a H501S up from Upson. And also it would have circle me mode built into the wristwatch. That will be a neat addition to this quadcopter when that comes out. So keep that in mind, folks. But again, it's very stable, very easy flyer, but also can be very fast. Let's go back to manual mode, do one more run in manual mode. You got to be careful when you switch to manual mode in that, you know, this center position throttle goes away and it might actually drop on you. I would recommend actually taking off in manual mode, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to be careful and go to manual mode. And there we go. Ready? Let's see the punch on this. Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry. I mean, sorry about that. It's got a lot of punch. Let's try that one more time. Bring it in. Punch it. A lot of punch. So yeah, this is a fast quadcopter if you want a fast quadcopter. Wow. Actually, this is kind of fun. Let's see the funnels it can do. So this is a great quad, actually. Okay, going back again to beginners. This is position 1. Bringing it back down again. Interesting quad, the JYU Hornet. Easy to fly, yet can also be quite challenging and quite fast. Kind of like it, actually. I have to fly this a lot more. Wind is picking up a bit. How much voltage we got left? You know, one thing I do notice on my screen here, though, every once in a while it'll go in and out saying, here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Or maybe I won't show you. Maybe I'm wrong. But it loses the OSD contact for a second there, and then the OSD information comes back in again. But I'm flying this until the battery power gets low. We're at 10.98 volts. Oh man, this is so slow in beginner's mode. But again, beginners should be easily able to fly this. I'm just giving it a full forward pitch and just giving it a little bit of yaw. Very slow and stable. One more time, going to position 2. And yeah, it becomes much more fast, or a lot faster. That's the funnels it'll do in position 2. Yeah, let's do another return to home. We'll go down the road, letting go of the button, pressing the home button. Again, if you do a long press wherever you're at, that is its new home point. But it's just a quick press of the button, and it will do a return to home. Let's demonstrate that, what I mean by the long press. Let's set this position over here as our new home position. Pressing the button here over the cement there. Then a long press. Now it thinks that's its new home position. I'll demonstrate that. We'll go down the road a bit again, letting go, and then I press the quick press. Let's see where it goes this time. So yeah, see, now that's its new home. So keep that in mind, folks. When you do a long press on this, it selects a new home position. Let's do an automatic landing. By a quick press of that button there. And going back up into the air. How much voltage we got? 10.8 volts. I think we're about done, folks. I'm going to do one more quick run in manual mode. Wow. Nice and fast. Super acceleration on this. Whoa. Almost got my head in that one. Keep that in mind, folks. This thing could be dangerous with the speed it goes. You like to see Quadcopter 101 laying on the ground after that run. Okay, the lights are blinking, so I'm bringing it in. I guess it's telling me it's getting low in voltage. Oh yeah, I am. 9.98 volts. So we are landing it, folks. Okay, that's the flight of the Hornet. Actually a pretty cool quadcopter, in my opinion. Really cool. Very fast, yet can be very easy to fly. Modular design, it can be anything, you can add anything to it that JYU produces for it. So I hope you enjoyed this flight, this Quadcopter 101. Signing out.